Hey Canucks fans, I hope you're well. As we sit here and as I record this on a Monday afternoon, and I look ahead to the draft on Wednesday and Thursday, the start of free agency on Saturday, without exaggerating or without trying to be over dramatic, could this be a very important week in the future of the Vancouver Canucks? It can really start to shape and to shift the way that the Canucks move and how they see themselves as a playoff contender or not. So I do think, I'm going to answer my own question. I do think that this is a very, very vital week for the state of this franchise. Again, with the draft on Wednesday and Thursday, the start of free agency on Saturday, and you can trade before, during, and after any of these periods. Now, yesterday on my live stream, I spoke a lot about the draft. I spoke about, aside from the big five of Bedard, Fantilli, Carlson, Smith, and Michkov, we talked about a lot of other guys, whether it be the U.S. players like Oliver Moore, Gabe Perreault, Ryan Leonard, whether it's the Canadian players like Nate Danielson and Zach Benson, or some of the defensemen. And most of them are, in fact, all of them aren't from North America, and guys like Simashev and Bovenlander and Reinbacher and Sandin Pellikka. So they're right there. I just rattled off about 12 to 14 names, all potential guys, except for the big five, potential guys that the Canucks may take a hard look at if they keep their pick at number 11. So I encourage you to watch that live stream. We had a good chat about that. I'm sure I'll be talking about it over the next couple of days. Parker and I will be talking about it this evening on Canucks After Dark at 10. But I actually wanted to step away from the draft talk for one video and talk more about free agents. And in particular, and it kind of ties in the draft, because obviously I think the Canucks are going to, when it comes to their pick at 11 on Wednesday, they're going to be faced with a decision. Are they going to pick a center likely, or let's say a center versus a defenseman? And you always want to pick best player available. But I've talked about, because of Simashev, Bovenlander, Reinbacher, and Sandin Pellikka, because those are the four real top defensemen, and maybe the only four that might be taken in the first round. Maybe they're going to be inflated because of their position a tiny bit higher and picked a little bit higher earlier than they might be in a regular year. So that's, I think, the dilemma, quite frankly, that's going to hit the Canucks when it's their turn to pick at 11. Unless Michkov is there, then I think that dilemma is you take him. But let's say Michkov isn't there, and then you have to decide, are you going to take a really good center or even a winger versus a defenseman, even at the risk of stretching a little bit? Well, I want to tie that defenseman talk into my video today. My topic right now is, isn't it funny how prior to the Oliver Ekman-Larsson buyout, I think all the talk was, oh, the Canucks need a better right shot defenseman, because you had Hughes and OEL, and then maybe you find a cheap third pairing guy or elevate one of Wolanin, Dermott, Hirose, Breezeball. That was the thought. And it was the right side that were kind of iffy, because we weren't sure. We're sure about Hronek and Myers, hopefully. Then we weren't sure if Ethan Bear was going to come back. And then you're apparently they hadn't done a lot of kind of discovery on the right side. But as soon as the OEL buyout happened a week and a half ago, then for me at least, the focus has changed to the left side of the D, because it's funny how just one transaction does that. But on the right side, I'm thinking, okay, even without Ethan Bear, let's say with Ethan Bear, you're set with Hronek, because we didn't have Hronek last year. So you're set with Hronek, Myers, and Bear. There's your right side. But even without Ethan Bear, there's been talk about Juleson or Burrows or Jet Wu or something like that. And then for me, the bigger hole was now on the left side, because you have your Quinn Hughes, your stud number one D-man, but you have a huge gap at the number 2 spot. Whereas before, OEL was there, and then despite overpaying him, you knew that he was at least there, penciled into that spot behind Quinn Hughes. So with OEL gone, you might say, no, Clay, it's still with the Ethan Bear kind of uncertainty. For you, it might be still the right shot defense as the priority for you. And I'm not talking about the draft, because no matter who the Canucks draft, I think that player is going to be at least 1 year away from joining the lineup anyway. So I'm not talking about Reinbacher or Bovenlander stepping in and making a difference, or Simashev right away. I'm talking about free agents now, current NHL pros. And I would dare say that the bigger hole is on the left side now and not the right side, because of the departure of OEL. So Rick Dhaliwal gave an update, as usually does on Monday mornings. And one name that I don't think anyone in this market had talked about until today, until Rick Dhaliwal brought up, was veteran Ian Cole. Now, Ian Cole is coming off a 1-year, $3 million contract with the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's won 2 Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that's when Rutherford and Levine were there back in 2016-17, I think. So he's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. Actually, he might even be a 3-time. I don't know how long he's been with the Lightning. Regardless, Ian Cole is looked at as a big, rugged, good stay-at-home, solid left shot guy. I think he's 34, 35 years old. So he's not over the hill yet, but he's probably got a couple more years, good years left in him. And much like the Canucks have been talking about Carson Soucy, who's I think a little younger, a bit bigger, but you can see now a lot of the focus has been on guys like Ian Cole, came out of nowhere, and Carson Soucy. Now, just to finish off my thought about Cole, yes, he's in his mid-30s, but I was reading some articles, and he analytically was really good. I know it's a good Tampa Bay team, but all of his stats were above 50%, so he's on the good side of all the possession stats and possession metrics and things like that. Low maintenance, veteran, experience with Levine and Rutherford. So that's one name that you could keep an eye on over the next few days, especially hitting July 1st, is Ian Cole. Like I said, $3 million contract, 1 year coming off with the Tampa Bay Lightning. We talked a lot about Carson Soucy. He had a good year in Seattle, again, surrounded with good players as well, a good team. And he is a veteran player as well, brings a lot of size. And you don't need the best puck mover. You don't need an amazing skater. You have that already in Hughes. You have good hockey IQ in someone like Philip Hronek, and likely whoever we're talking about on the left side will be likely either Hronek's or Myers' partner. So likely probably Hronek's partner, because I think they're going to split Hughes and Hronek up. So is it an Ian Cole? Is it a Carson Soucy? A couple other names we've heard of. On the left side, there's Dmitry Kulikov. There's him. There's one other name I was going to bring up Logan Stanley. I think those are both left shot guys as well, guys with size that aren't going to be too expensive. On the right side, we've heard names like Luke Shen, of course. We've also heard names like, there's another one I was going to bring up on the right. Oh, well, I don't know how much we want him. Justin Hull, much from the line from the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then didn't he get traded? Anyways, so there's, but it's funny. All the names I hear now are more left side options as opposed to right side options because of the departure of OEL, like I said. So just want to bring that to you, is that news from Rick Dhaliwal is that the Canucks may be sniffing around Ian Cole. And then another interesting thing that Rick Dhaliwal said, it's been very quiet among the 3 right shot defensemen. Ethan Bear, we've talked about that situation already with the shoulder injury out till December. And then free agents Noah Juleson and Kyle Burrows, both players that played here last year. You think it would behoove the Canucks to sign at least one of them for at least some depth, so you know that you can have a third pairing guy behind Hronek and Myers, some guy who has at least played in our system and played some good games, at least some games, meaningful games with us. As much as you say they're meaningful, they played some games with us last season. So Canucks fans, 2 questions for you really as we sit here the 2 days before the draft. Number 1 is, do you agree with me with my assertion that this is a very fundamental week in the future of the Vancouver Canucks franchise, or am I kind of over-exaggerating? Let me know what you think. And number 2, do you agree with me that the left shot defense is kind of become more of a priority than the right shot defense? Are you saying to me, Clay, the whole defense is a priority? And I would accept that answer as well. Shout out to my sponsors, Van Seat Experts Real Estate, Perform and Transform, Personal Training, Weight Loss. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Carol Bovenlander, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame franchise members as well. And thanks to all of you. Always appreciate you. Never take you for granted. Tonight, me and Parker, Canucks After Dark, 10 p.m. Hope you join us on the Canucks After Dark channel. And I'll be checking in every day this week because it's a big week for the Vancouver Canucks. As always, you can subscribe, like the video, leave a donation, become a member, upgrade your membership. And as always, leave a comment down below your thoughts on what I talked about for the last 9 minutes or so. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Have a great rest of the day. God bless, and go Canucks go.